My mentor taught me to always be one step ahead of others. I took that very seriously. And I'm always 10 years ahead of others. And that's why I'm making this video, to keep you ahead of everyone else. Because when you are ahead of others, that's where you win, that's where you earn more, that's where you grow more, right? There's no, that's another thing which my mentor said, that if you're not growing, you're dead. So I believe in growing, right? So if you watch this video till the end, you will know how agentic AI is revolutionizing pharma research. This will also give you a glimpse on AI itself is a problem which needs to be solved, and that is where you come into picture. But before I get inside and deep dive, here is a small opportunity which I missed 20 years ago. When I started Pharmanica, Biotechnica, all these concepts, I thought of starting medicine delivery platform, but I didn't know how to do that. I thought, who will run behind the government to take approvals for, I was way ahead of time. So I didn't do it. Fast forward to 2020, I saw pharma delivery companies coming up. 2026, we have Tata 1mg, $1 billion company, right? We have the Dr. Lal Path Labs and all those diagnostic company converting now into a e-commerce medicine delivery companies. I lost $1 billion opportunity, and I don't want you to lose that opportunity. So how to fix that? By knowing where the industry is going, by staying ahead of the curve, by staying ahead of others, by solving the problems which the industry of tomorrow will face and keeping the solutions ready today. That is how the industry will reward us, right? So let's deep dive now into agentic AI and how it is revolutionizing pharma research. Now, one big problem, one of the biggest problems pharma faces is noise in data. But even before I go to noise in data, the biggest problem is data itself. The data is unavailable. So only a few pharma companies will be able to actually work in this direction, right? That is why you will see top biotech and pharma companies now tying up with AI companies. Because AI companies has AI, but they don't have data. These guys have data. Yes. If they have data, then only they can do the research, right? Even I have the best AI, if I don't have data, it's useless. But now comes the next challenge. See, the data we collated from 100 sources. 100 sources, 100 different formats, hundreds of noise. Hundreds of, noise, we call it as pollution, or we call it as a diversion from the real goal. So if the data is having error, we will never get to clear conclusions. So that is where AI fails, when the data has noise. Now what agentic AI does is, it has the ability to clear the data, right? Now, another problem which we face with regular AI is, there are several algorithms which we have designed, but all these algorithms are not talking to each other, right? So the formulation guy developed one algorithm, the pharmaceutics guy another algorithm, the pharmacognosy guy designed another algorithm. These are not talking to each other, right? So the whole biodiscovery process is fragmented because each one designed their own AI. Now the agentic AI connects all of this and it helps us do the DMTA cycle faster. Now what is DMTA cycle? Design, make, test, analyze cycle, right? So if the algorithms are isolated, unique and different, it's very difficult to connect. The agentic AI connects them. So DMTA is possible, right? Now, during the drug discovery process, what do? We connect a functional group, check the QSAR. If it is going to happen, then only move forward, otherwise go for the next, right? So that is where also agentic AI comes into picture. So it helps you denoise the data, it helps you fasten the DMTA process. Now, another place where the agentic AI comes into picture is hypothesis generation from the same noisy data. Yes, you heard me right. So agentic AI will not just denoise the data or remove the errors in the data. It will also help us design a hypothesis based on whatever we have got, right? So, like I said, the sources were different. So the hypothesis can be wrong, but it will help us achieve a hypothesis faster. The real strength of agentic AI comes here. Agentic AI acts as a digital detective through the noisy data and helps us isolate those signals. And by modeling, for example, how proteins are behaving, it can nominate candidates in months rather than years. Agents can integrate multi-omics data, run the literature hypothesis and synthesis search. It can predict toxicity, identify drug repurposing opportunities, and then help us do things which previously required a massive coordination of 100+ scientists. 100 scientists into one, that's agentic AI. Hundreds of algorithms combined together, that's agentic AI. Agentic AI at the same time is doing drug repurposing, also doing the literature search and synthesis, at the same time is also reading the multi-omics data and protein folding. Imagine a world where 100 scientists into one. That's agentic AI. Now, this seems like science fiction, right? Well, it is happening. It's already happening inside pharma companies. And so many pharma companies are reaching out to me for consulting, for designing, because we do that at Pharmanica, we do that as well. So many companies have approached us to design agentic AI or algorithmic AI for them, right? But the day is not far when we will be actually talking about robotic AI right here on this channel, working in pharma labs. But wait for that day. For now, we have another explosive feature of agentic AI. That is clinical trials. Yes. So what really happens with clinical trials? 90% of the money which flows in to research goes into clinical trials. The hardest economics is sitting with clinical trials. 90% of drug candidates will fail the clinical development, and average cost to bring a medicine to the market shoots to billions of dollars, right? 2.3 billion is the average drug discovery, one molecule, right? So agentic systems are now being applied for protocol designing, feasibility assessment, site selection, patient matching, and then, for example, we have AI called as Concert AI. What it does, it is recently launched. It's an agentic platform that claims to shorten the overall trial timeline by 10 to 20 months. Now, this is significant. A study which used to take 20 months now takes 10 months, right? So from phase 1 to 4, we can do this drug development and we can reduce the timeline by 76%, right? And each major change which happens in a regular process adds months. All of that can be reduced. Now, there are companies like Okin, which is developing agentic infrastructure which can push industry towards a clinical success rate which has never been achieved. That's a game changer. Now let's look at agentic AI in regulatory and compliance. We know FDA is very, very strict, right? So submission preparation has historically been manual, been tedious, and been really tough. Agentic AI integrates compliance into the workflow. Day one, we are shifting from a human role to a AI role. The clerical jobs are gone now. Cross-checking to high-level strategic review. Everything happens through agentic AI. Now, here are some honest constraints or feedback which I would like to highlight here. Agentic AI is still not perfect. It can make mistakes. It can hallucinate. Now, that is where you come into picture. If you learn AI ML in pharma, drug discovery, chemistry, and biology, and if you learn how to design an algorithm, very soon you will be designing agents, and these agents will be doing the job for you, right? And then you can sell these agents to hundreds of companies, right? The real era of making money is here, where you can build the Infosys of pharma, right? How to do that? First, learn AI ML and drug discovery. And where to learn? Well, Pharmanica. There's a link in the comment section. You can chat with me on WhatsApp. You can chat with our experts on WhatsApp. You can learn AI ML and pharma and biology and chemistry. And then you can design your own agents who will do the same, what I just told you. And then you can sell it to pharma companies, because you have to know one thing. The pharma boys don't know AI yet. They will very soon, by the way. The AI boys don't have the pharma data. So if you take the pharma boys and make them meet the AI boys, but you are the mediator, everybody is going to buy a solution. So stay ahead 10 years from today. Build the solution which the future pharma industry will need. Knowledge never harms. Learn AI with Pharmanica. Details in the description. Come chat with me and let's win the world of pharma market, one AI at a time. All the best.